Hello, how you doing today, folks? It's Raged back for another reaction to My Hero Academia Season 8, Episode number 4, the final season. Last episode we had part 1 of Bakugo versus All For One. Bakugo going crazy. It was very exciting. If you guys haven't watched that episode, go back. It was pretty awesome. This episode, that's about it though. We got a little bit about one of the All For One users reminding One For All. One of the One For All users reminding All For One about Bakugo, reminding them of them. What am I trying to say? Bakugo reminded All For One of one of the One For All users. Gosh, can't speak today. Yeah, that's about it though. Shigaraki and Deku are still up there, about to fight seemingly. We learned that Tailman and the Tape Guy and Sugar Man all are fighting a random dude, and then that Aizawa and President Mike are still missing with the Warp Gate guy. I forget his name, but the guy that does the Warp Gates, the villain that used to be his friend. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I don't know if they'll show up this episode, but I hope we get more of the fight. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm excited to get in this though. If you guys enjoy this reaction, like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for future reactions. Let's go. I'm guessing this is them, All For One and One For All. Get their names. Wow, that was a dark intro. God. He just it pretty much erased him. So eat this really quickly before I die. What? He did not shoot that off. Who feelings? Oh my god. What the fuck? This is crazy. Bongo versus a baby now. Oh no. Oh god. Alright, so that was episode number 4 of My Hero Academia Season 8. The final season. We finally finished this fight. As if you watch the other reactions, you know that's what I've been wanting, to finish this fight. So I'm excited. But first, let's start with what started this whole episode, was the little backstory we got of All For One and One For All. Yuichi? I don't know their names. I'm not going to try to say them anymore. But they were, they had a mother that was on the street, seemingly died in childbirth. It was kind of like All For One absorbed all the nutrients. I don't know if that means like he directly killed her or not. It was a really gruesome scene when he was like, they were both on top of her. Really sad to see. But he also took away a lot of like nutrients from his younger brother, One For All. I'm gonna call him, refer to him as. But then we saw them growing up. One For All was obsessed with comic books and heroes, while All For One took the bad side of it. His whole goal was kind of just to be seen by people. That was his like whole issue in the beginning, why he killed people, I guess, was because people would just ignore him, which was sad for a baby, but it's hard to be too sad when he's murderous. And yeah, we eventually saw the second and third users, how they first found him locked up, and then when All For One caught him, he was like, if no one can have you, if I can't have you, no one can. And he just killed his brother. Not before he could transfer his quirk, but then eventually he killed the second user and the third user. We saw the transferring of the quirk to everybody, which was cool to see. And we saw him get defeated by All Might at the end there. So I forget, there was a little bit of him with the doctor and such, but that was mainly it. We learned that just Kudo, the look in Bakugo's eyes at this point in time, especially now, because he talked about it in like season 3 how he didn't see it, but now it looks a lot like Kudo. So no actual like family, but a little bit of ties to their drive, their emotion. They also look very similar. We'll be honest. Yeah, it was cool to see that. It was a little sad and disturbing at times. But then we saw him try to like use all his quirks to get to Tomura, one last thing before he turned into a baby. And Bakugo did something crazy. He flung his sweat at times to him and then shot stuff. I don't know exactly how it works, but he shot his sweat to him to ignite the other sweat and stopped him. Like, what? That was crazy. And then we just saw him fucking him up. You know, I kept saying, like, every time he puts his hand on his face to blow him up, it's like the disrespect. That was so disrespectful, especially for Boku. He doesn't do that. It's so disrespectful, though. Yeah. We got a lot of, like, we see a lot of Bakugo's development as well. He's like, I couldn't win this on my own. He admits that. Also, like, this is our story. He's like, he used to call people background characters all the time. Now he's like, no, this is this is not my story. It's our story. So it's cool to see his development. And yeah, the fight was awesome to watch. And I was like, if anybody's gonna take out a baby, it would be Bakugo. That was my joke in the video. But he just disappeared. His rewind. It was very funny seeing All for One as a baby, like his thoughts in his mind and his just crying as a baby. Like he didn't actually speak anymore. And like, I don't know if it was meant intentionally. Like his mind was also reverting because he was like, just like repeating the same thing over and over again. It was like a lot less comprehensible. Like he was like, hate you, hate you, hate you a bunch of times like that, instead of like actual developing sentences and such. So I'm curious if that was also part of it. But then he just disappeared. There's still part of him seemingly in Shigaraki. And then that's, you know, Deku versus Shigaraki, Tailman, Sugarman versus the other guy, and Cellophane, I think his name is. And then we got Warp Gate versus President Mike and Aizawa. So that's about it. Overall, though, I like this episode. I like this fight a lot. This season's been really good so far. If you guys enjoyed my reaction, though, like the video. Comment your thoughts down below. What am I doing here? Comment your thoughts down below. Do it. No, comment your thoughts down below and subscribe for future reactions. Hope you guys have a good day, and goodbye. Hello, how you doing today, folks? It's Raged back for another reaction to My Hero Academia Season 8, Episode number 5. The final season. We are finished with the Bakugo versus All for One fight. Bakugo has defeated him with the help of everyone else. Now it's really just Deku versus Shigaraki. We've gotten a little bit of showing Tailman and Sugarman and Cellophane, I think is his name, going against a villain. I don't know if we're going to cut to them. I know we got Invisible Girl, which I like. I liked that moment a lot with Invisible Girl. So I kind of hope we get Tailman and Sugarman some development. Even Cellophane needs some, but especially Tailman. I feel like he's like one of the least developed characters in the series. He had like one moment in the sports festival and that's it. So hopefully we have that. Also, we have Aizawa and President Mike with the warp villain somewhere. We know they're friends, so they're probably trying to talk him into helping out, but who knows? But let's get into this. If you guys enjoyed this reaction, like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for future reactions. Hope you guys have. What? I almost did the outro. Let's go. I don't know if he's the kid or anything. It's the world. They fucked up all the world already, all the villains. I remember what happens in this fight a little bit. That is really like, that's a terrible quirk for him to lose. Like, it's a crazy good quirk that Deku had. Alright. I never realized it's where Maui was at in the manga. What? Did he just like blow the decay away or what? What? Midpoint. And we'll be back after this commercial. At least you have to use a quirk to, like, that probably weakens you a little bit, slows you down a bit. Yep. showing the split star inside of them, inside of him, being able to break through to his quirks to himself. Ah, what am I saying? God damn.
このまま力比べを続けても勝ち目はない。だから
Yep, you gotta give them the souls so they could do something inside of them. Number 5 of My Hero Academia Season 8, the final season. I remembered something. Like I said, I don't remember much about this fight. I was closing my headphones, sorry. I don't remember about this fight, but when they introduced Shigaraki taking the quirk, I'm like, yep, I remember what happens in this fight. And the plan is to give him the souls at the very least. I don't know about the quirks. Like, I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I read and look away, and when I'm talking especially, it's like I'm not completely paying attention. But I think the goal is not to lose the quirk. It's to... But even though the second or third user, I forget his name, the guy that looks like Bakugo, resembles Bakugo, he was like, it'll be fine. If he takes the quirk, then he'll just be fucked up anyway. So then that's alright. Like, Danger Sense was fucked to lose. That's such a good quirk. But yeah, so not Bakugo, Deku's gotta give up the souls of the All For One users and let them try to break through to get Shigaraki back. Not Shigaraki, I forget his name. I'm sorry, I forget his name. The little boy. He's trying to save the little boy. I don't love this. I think it's good-hearted, but like, it's I'm a lot more like, you gotta win the fight. That's what a lot of people's lives are at risk. So trying to save the villain in a way is not always worth it. I get it. It's fictional. It's a piece of media. Especially like superhero. Like when at the end when Shigaraki like, you're very heroic now. I'm like, who gives a fuck? That's kind of how I feel sometimes about saving the villains. Yeah. But overall though, I enjoyed this episode. It was a lot more of a setup episode for the big fight. Now they got a plan. Yeah. Overall though, I can get into spoilers. Because I remember, now that I saw this episode, I remember a lot more of what happens in the final stuff. And I do know what happens at the end, so I wish I could talk about it, but I'm not going to get into this. If you guys, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, like the video, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for future reactions. Hope you guys have a good day, and goodbye.